Hey, I'm Charlie. I'm a chef and the owner of Morty and Bob's restaurants. I love cooking, and in this series, I'm going to show you some of my favourite dishes. Come along for the ride.
This is homemade pita breads with homemade chicken shawarma. A beautiful little salad, kind of lovely chicken shawarma mayo to go on top. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to make the pita bread. It is so easy. You are not going to buy shop bought again, I promise you. 120 grams of strong white bread flour, 7 grams of just standard easy bake yeast, and we are going to make a little kind of pre-ferment basically with some warm water. We're going to add 225 grams, and then we're going to give it a good old mix. And basically that warm water is gonna wake up that dried yeast. And you can just leave that room temperature for about 15 minutes until it starts getting a bit foamy. Once your dough is frothing, bubbling, that means that the yeast is starting to work, which is great. And we are gonna add some extra flour now. Another 240 grams of the same flour. To that, we are going to add 20 grams of olive oil, that, and then also 6 grams of salt, which is more than a few pinches, I'm finding out. There we go. Then you've got a few different ways that you can now knead this. I'm going to use a mixer here and stick it on for about 5 minutes, but you can also do it by hand for about 10 minutes, or even stick it in a food processor for like 3 or 4 minutes, but I like the effect that you get with the dough hook. Once your dough's been on the mixer for about 5 minutes and we've got that window pane test all done, we can tip this out and form it into a nice tight ball like this. So you want to like push your hands down, so you're making the top of it like stretch out, and then tuck it underneath and spin it at the same time. After a bit of that, you can see you've got this perfect little dough ball. Get a tiny bit of oil, pop it in like that, and just mix it around so it doesn't stick to the sides too much. And then we're going to cover it, and that is your dough made. And we're going to let it rest for about an hour now. This is the time that you can put on your oven. So as high as the oven will go, fan. Let's make some chicken shawarma. Chicken shawarma. This is such a super easy dish to make. Chicken thigh, skinned and boned, ground coriander, ground cumin, ground turmeric, a little bit of ground cloves, some garlic powder, and some sweet smoked paprika. Chuck it all in. A little bit of corn flour. Corn flour is going to help it all kind of come together and bind the chicken bits and the spices and everything. Mix it all together. Add a little bit of salt. And you can see it's kind of all coated evenly in this lovely spice mixture. We're going to now layer our chicken inside this loaf tin. We're basically trying to create, like, you know, in the kebab shops when the whole thing is spinning around, that is basically just bits of chicken on sticks on top of each other like that. So we're just basically doing the exact same thing in a loaf tin at home. Push it down, add a bit more. This is going to go in to your preheat oven at about 160 for about 45 minutes. So what's perfect for a little chicken shawarma is a salad. Red onion, cherry tomatoes, a little bit of parsley, and I quite like seeing the big leaves coming out, so I'm just going to rip it. Bit of red wine vinegar, and a little bit of olive oil. And actually we can let this sit for a little bit because the salt is going to work on those tomatoes and work on those onions and bring out a lot of the juices from it all. And that is literally as simple as it gets. Our chicken shawarma cheat loaf tin jobby has been cooking for about 40 minutes at 160. And while that is resting, we are going to make our pita breads. So dust your counter and very gently roll your dough out onto the surface, and you can see that your bowl should be pretty clean. Weigh the whole thing. Perfect, 600 grams. So we're gonna make 600-gram pieces. Oh my God, look, can I just have a look at that? Perfect. 2 grams out. What we're gonna do is the same technique that we were doing before to turn it into little dough balls. So twist, 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 right. And let them prove a third time for about 10, 15 minutes. So while those are on their third prove, we want to get the oven as hot as we possibly can. So bang it up to as much as it'll go. This one's 250. The Pita dough balls have been sitting here now for about 15, 20 minutes. We're going to roll it into 6-inch rounds. There you go. Dust off that extra flour. Give it a little stretch. Stick it on a paddle or something, whatever you've got. And we're going to just place it very gently on top of the pizza stone. Pizza's done 2 minutes on one side. Flip it and another 2 minutes. Here we go. Beautiful, puffed up, a little bit brown around the edges. That is a beautiful pita. Gonna take some of the juices from the chicken shawarma loaf and I'm gonna pour it into the mayo. Trust me, stay with me on this one. Look at these beautiful colors and we're just gonna mix it all together. Yeah, wow, that's actually really good. There we go, look. Beautiful, juicy chicken shawarmas that could look better with a bit of crisp on it. You can stick this in the oven on a baking sheet. I've got a blowtorch, which I recommend having anyway, which is gonna give the edges of it a little crisp up. Now we've got a beautiful, crispy skin to our chicken shawarma loaf. I like to slice it nice and thin, just like you would get it off of the kebab thingy. I should really find out what that thing's called. We've got our pita ready. We're gonna bring our salad in. We've got our sauce. We've got a little bit of feta, should you wish to have that. Smash some chicken inside our pita. Make sure you get some of those crispy bits on the outside. Get it right in there. Then our beautiful salad that we made earlier. I'm gonna stick a bit of feta on top, if you want, you don't have to. Bit of extra sauce. Just on top, like that. Yes. That, my friends, is homemade pita with homemade chicken shawarma, a beautiful little salad, and then, I mean, wait till you try this sauce. It is just gonna bring it all together, and it is a beautiful little lunch or dinner or whatever time of day. That is super fresh. Yeah, that is really, really good. There's beautiful chicken shawarma spices coming through. That is absolutely delicious.